Ahead and make some chicken a la king. You guys remember that delicious meal from when you was like going to the lunchroom in elementary school? Lunchroom food. School lunch is a better way to say it. I don't know. But you know, everybody liked the school lunch that was pizza. Well, me, I liked the little chicken a la king. I don't know if you're, hey, go. Get. You know you ain't allowed in my kitchen. Go on, boy. Go on, boy. Go on. Go on. Go sit down. Go in your cage. Go lay down. Go lay down in your cage. Oh, your door's not open. Here. Go in yonder. Yeah, lay down, buddy. Lay down, partner. But yeah, as far, oh, the water hot. That chicken a la king, it was good. But you know what though, y'all, I was gonna say is, what about this Kandi and Todd thing that's going on or whatever? So now, let's be honest, anybody who has any sense, or anybody who has ever been almost divorced even, let alone to have you ever been divorced, but divorce is gonna make you into enemies. There's just no way around it. I have a confession, you know, early in my marriage, I thought that divorce was going to be an option that needed to happen for me. And so I didn't even file, but I went and got the paperwork to file. And when I went and got that paperwork to file and everything, it was so crazy. I knew me and my husband could never be friends. I knew we was never going to be able to be friends. If we, you know, had to go through with something like that. But if you got to get a divorce, then you just do. You know, it's just kind of like what it is. And I understand that. But what I am saying is you have to know that it comes with certain questions that will make when you go to get a divorce and stuff, on the paperwork itself, it'll have you already just reading a little deeper into it, and you will already be making an enemy right then and there of your spouse, just when you get the paperwork. And like I said, I didn't even file. Only thing I did was I went down there and I got the paperwork and I began to read it. And when I was reading it, I was like, yeah, we're going to end up being enemies. So that's why I'm like, that thing with this Kandi and Todd situation, that's crazy because, you know, really and truly, I don't think that was a marriage that was really made to withstand everything. Like, you know, because of her mom. You know, I'm going to just be honest. That's just me thinking that she let the mom do way more than too much. And you got to stop that. And I could say what I got to say about it because I went through it. My mom was a little jealous, but we got over it, you know, and I thank God. But I know how it gets. Let me turn this around. I want you guys to see what I'm cooking. Let's see if we can move that. Can it rotate? Nope, it won't rotate. Here's what we'll do. I'll just take it off and hold it so you guys can see. I'm making some chicken a la king. First thing I'm starting with is 3 large chicken breasts, and I'm malleting them down. With the flat part of my mallet. This recipe can also be used as far as at your leftover turkey, okay? So anyway, yeah, going back to Kandi and Todd, that paperwork is crazy. One day you guys should just look it up. You don't have to be getting divorced or anything. Just look into it like I'm asking you to do. So we're adding a nice amount of coarse kosher salt because of the fact it's going to tenderize this meat. It has properties in it that allow it to tenderize your meat So that's why I like to use kosher salt. So because we're not going to take all day, we're going to poke it real good in the middle. Not at the thin tips. You don't need to go to the tips. Get in the middle and just poking holes in it everywhere. So anyway, at first they was saying how just keep poking away. Remember, you don't have to go to the ends. The ends are going to be tender enough on their own. But it's the thicker part that we have to assure is going to be tender. I'm not making a lot of it. I'm making enough. Hi, everybody. Everybody say hi. Hi, everybody. There's that thumbs up. Can y'all hit that like button? I appreciate it because it helps me. So that's why I hadn't really been back, because it had been some time. And so I just took a break because y'all wasn't hitting the like button. So I was like, dang, they don't like me like that. So thank you for hitting the like button, guys. All right, so now we're going to add some black pepper. And that was a hearty amount of kosher salt. So we'll say at least 2 teaspoons, probably 3. Because we're going to boil these after we cut them up. And then just take them and lay them on top of each other so that the seasoning will go to the opposite side, so it'll be on top and bottom without sticking your hand in there a whole lot. The bottom one, of course, needs some seasoning on it because it doesn't have any, so just lay it on top of the top one. Let that kosher salt get all in there. In the meantime, let's go ahead and add some bouillon to this here water. That's all it is water. I'll probably just add a pack of bouillon powder. No, I'll add some right here. I got this kind. Chicken bouillon. Chicken de pollo. So let's go ahead and put some chicken powder in here. And I'm recording. I'm not recording. I'm just live alone. So bear with me because it will be jiggling on the screen everywhere. Okay, so I'm going to add a hearty amount. We're going a little less. We're going to add a tablespoon of chicken powder. So yeah, then at first when Kandi said she was going to divorce her husband was last week, right before Thanksgiving, sadly. And then we're going to add some onion powder because I don't really want any more salt. Not a lot. We'll say 1 teaspoon so far. And then, shoot. Maybe I guess I should have had this all out. So I'm going to have to add a little bit of my personal purpose seasoning, Shake It by Gina. Is this blurry or something? Can't tell. It looks blurry to me, maybe because I can't see. But anyway, this is the seasoning that I make personally. It's Shake It by Gina, all-purpose seasoning. And guys, don't forget, when you make it, shake it. So you can find this on my website, shakeitbygina.com. Oh, we're going to drop some in there. I did about 1.5 teaspoons to 2 teaspoons of that one. Because we do have to have plenty of flavor in there. That has every flavor that we're looking for. Now, this is not a dish that I like a lot of garlic in. So we're not going to add in no more garlic or anything. And this is going to be a little more like a steam boil. As you guys can see, is only about 3 cups of water in there. And to that, we're going to add in these chicken breasts. 1, 2. The reason why I'm cooking these like this instead of like putting them on top of the stove or in the oven or anything for this recipe is because it's going to make them juicier. They're going to be juicier. So we're just going to go ahead and rinse my hand and let that boil on. But going back to Kandi and her husband and stuff, though, soon to be her ex-husband, I'm on his side, and I'm sorry. I know people probably may feel like, well, everybody, But you know what? I mean, the truth be told is that he was raising those kids pretty much. It looked to me like single-handedly, because Candy's a hustler. Candy's a hustler, and she's going to go out there and she's going to get her bags up and she's going to make her money because that's who she is. It's embedded in people like that. I mean, I know, believe me, I know. Because you got to do what you got to do to take care of your family and all that. But at the end of the day, what about the time? See, because time is something that you can't get back. Over anything in life, that's just something that you cannot get back. Even if your health goes bad or something like that, you could get in better health with a lot of different things, especially nowadays with modern medicine and stuff. But what I will say is that that time, there's no way to get it back. You can't rewind the tape. And that's something that I'm beginning to learn more and more, because my own mom told me, she said, you know what? She said, you're trying to buy your children's love. And I was like, buy my children's love? My children love me, defensive, of course. And so then anyway, my mom was like, yeah, she said, you're trying to buy your kids love. She said, you have to sit and talk with them and all that, because like half of my kids, they were born when I was younger. Like 20, I had one at 20 and one at 25, my first two children. And I did invest more time in them. I even feel like that because of the fact that, I was younger and stuff, and I was just I don't know, it was just different. It was. And that doesn't mean like my next set of children, my young children, don't get taken care of, or I'll be sitting up ignoring them and neglecting them. It's not that. But I did not put as much time for some time. It'd be up and down. Like when they was like really a baby, then you're all over everything. And then as they get older and older and like a teenager, then it's like, well, dang, they can take care of themselves. Cool. You know what I mean? But they still really need that time. So all I'm saying is that girl, that's Kandi, I think it's like out of spite, of course, that she feels the need to now change the, she amended her divorce to ask that she gets primary custody. Well, that's not right. Why would she want primary custody of children that she's not able to spend the time with them kids like that? She can't. How can she spend time with her children on that level? Now, she has plenty of money. I'm talking about big bucks to where she can have somebody take care of her children, but what is that? Why do other people need to be taking care of your children? This girl did everything to have her children. One of her children was born, she had a surrogate to have her baby. And that's when you really, that's one thing to plan for your kids and stuff. But when you go to certain extremes, it's like, yeah, obviously you really, really, really wanted to have kids. So you did all that. Now you got these kids. Now their daddy has been taking care of them. He's all over the place with them, and he should be taking care of them. And more daddies need it too. But them kids need that mama. They do. So if you're going to ask for custody, full custody of your children, then just make sure you got the time. That goes for anybody. I don't like all that spiteful, you know what I mean? Like all of a sudden. Because see, what happened was they thought it was going to be pleasant and an easy divorce and stuff like that. But then what I feel ended up happening is that things changed. They probably, done had a couple arguments since last week when she filed and stuff. They probably done got into it or something. And now it's like, now she's going back and saying, no, I want this primary custody. And basically, like, he can do visitation. That don't make sense. That don't make sense to get that mad to where you're going to sit up there and have a man who is willing and he is able and he is taking care of his children and he is hands-on. You rather, and I don't really like Todd like that. You know what I mean? But I mean, just not that I know him, but I'm just saying I have no reason to sit there and root for this man like that. But what I am saying is greetings. Good evening, host. Hi. Hi, y'all. So, no, I just think that that's ridiculous to want to take custody, full custody of your children because you done got into it with the father of your child. You know, these women are out here doing that for real. And you know, I'm a woman but I still have the right to say what I feel is the truth. The truth of the matter is that yes, these women are out here doing that and they get mad at these men and all this kind of stuff because the relationship ain't no longer working and they is said to go in two separate directions of life. And so now, you know, in a lot of cases, you know, these women get so mad that they stand in the way of the men who trying to see their children. And I just gotta say the truth of the matter is, as far as the father of my children, my older children, he I wasn't finna do him like that. He didn't even, you know, really help me take care of them. He didn't help me take care of my kids like that, you know, not financially. And I didn't want him taking care of them, you know, where they was always over with him like custody wise or something like that. No, you don't need to take care of my kids, but just be a part of my kids' life. And he was. And no matter how much I couldn't stand him and probably may not be able to still, maybe, but he still was a part of my children's lives. You know what I mean? He just always was a part of my children's life. So why? Because now, I'm mad and I don't get along with you and stuff. Now all of a sudden I'm going to go ahead and make you not see the kids. It didn't work out with us. That don't have nothing to do with them children. And so now it feels to me like, you know, some of this, and it probably is going to come out, obviously, but it do sound like it's a little bit like spitefulness involved right there. Because now today, last week he was cool and you wanted to share custody with that man. Now this week, y'all done probably got into it. I don't even know. You know, I can only imagine because I've been through a lot my own self. So usually that's what just goes down. And so I'm going to say, yeah, they probably got into it pretty bad. And now both of them is changing how they're wanting this divorce to go. They changing it up, you know what I mean? Because they can't get along. So then, because you can't get along, let's go ahead and involve these kids. Let's go ahead and involve these kids by confusing them. Because that's all it really does, is sitting up here arguing over your kids in front of them and stuff. You know you'd be arguing sometimes in front of them. Like, we're not going to tell stories. Everybody moves to the other room to go and have an argument. Sometimes an argument just is an argument. And it just go down, you know. And that's very unfortunate. But, you know, I just can't stand to feel like a mother would try to take the children away from a father that have been in the child's life. Like, this man has been in his children's lives. And he is the more active parent. And anybody with eyes can see that. And that's just period. That's what it is. That man is more active. Let his children be with him. While you travel and you make all that money that you make and stuff like that. But you have to remember, see, that's what I always say. The truth of the matter, all money ain't good money. I'm talking about, you know, people think that people are talking about drug dealers and stuff like that, illegal, making illegal money. But that's not just what the truth of the matter is. The truth of the matter is all money, it just ain't. It ain't all good money. And that money that lady is making is big money. But does that make it good? It's legit money, but does that make it good? If you didn't raise your children, and then when they grow up, they're going to realize and remember, and they'll probably say it, Mom, well, where was you when I did this thing first or last or anything? Because ain't no telling, even when they was on good terms with each other, there's really no telling how much of their lives that she done missed out on. When them two was going, not just in this situation now where they're getting a divorce, but what I'm saying is, let me see if I can make this machine. Come on. Yeah, there. Okay. Let's see if we're going to do right. There. Okay, but yeah, you know what I mean? Just because you make the money and stuff does not mean you should have the say. So her prenup, I don't even care about that. But on that note, I wouldn't mind seeing him get something because she was not as popular. She was lit, you know what I mean? This girl's a member of Escape. She's writing all these songs. I don't know if she's an EGOT winner or anything, but I know that she's done well for herself, period. But then when he came in the picture, it did make her more interesting, just like it made me more interested in you when you got a relationship that people are now looking at. People, you know what they like? They like drama and love stories. That's what people are into. So, yeah, to see her in this love story. Come on. Moody, woo. There. To see her, and now she has a love story and stuff, it's like, it's good. We're glad that she has a love story. At the end of the day, though, what about them kids? That's almost like, wow, she is really has to think about that. You and women and people, you know, I'm sure it's men too who take their kids, but I don't hear about it the way I hear about women doing that. Taking the children from the man when it didn't work out, or you know, cutting him off from how much he gets to see him, asking for primary custody. And we, the ones even watching this video, I know my family, we don't have it like that to where it's like okay for us to for us to sit up here and have a whole entire, well, rewind the tape. First of all, the nanny, if she takes them kids, the nanny's gonna raise the kids, and probably her mother. That's who's gonna raise them kids. It ain't gonna be her. It is gonna be her mom, and her team. You know how people that they get rich. That's what they have as a team. So that's what she be saying, my team and all that stuff. And that's fine. But what I am saying is that that is not going to make up for the fact that they have a father right here in that city that lives right there in that city, and the father that is wanting to take care of his children can't. How that look? Your kids will grow up. That's to any woman, any man, whoever's keeping the kids away from the other parent. Them same kids gonna grow up and realize that you was keeping them away because you was mad. And she wants to limit his time that he gets to be around his own children. That's wild. That is so wild. Why would you want to limit the time? You're so mad that probably you got to thinking, yeah, and they gonna make me pay this spousal support to him. They gonna make me pay the spousal support to him if he got this shared custody with me because I make more money. Well, you should want to. You should want to. You'd rather pay the nanny than to have their father get some kind of help with taking care of them kids who's used to their certain lifestyle? What? Say what? People get mean. People get real mean and nasty during a divorce, friendship breakup, all of that, you know? And it's like, stay loyal or stay away. That's what I feel when it comes to me. But in the meantime, them people, that family, that ain't nothing but a mess. But yeah, I do. As of right now, I feel really bad for the father. I feel bad for Todd because of the fact that he is an active daddy and he's more active than her. He is more active than her. And we don't face that. We have to, because this is what the truth is. What's going on? Ain't nothing going on but the bills. How's everybody doing today, tonight? Did you guys want to see my tree? Let's go over here and see my tree. I don't have the skirt on it. And that's kind of a little bit annoying. I guess they claim they can't find it or something. Let's see if this spinning machine will spin around. It's in my hand, so we go see this tree. Hold on. See my little tree? She look a little crooked, but we gonna fix her all the way. There. And her skirt matches her. I just haven't had this tree up in years. So it was the first time I put it up in a whole lot of years. But yeah, so that meat is just simmering kind of like on low right now. While I sit down and take my little break and poo. But yeah, as far as Kandi and Todd, I was so sad. But I know it just never lasts, you know, to try to... Hi, everybody. Can you guys please hit the like button, though? I was wondering. Would y'all mind hitting that like button so we can finish this conversation? But yeah, I just think it's just mean, you know what I mean? For her, she'd rather this man... Hey, hold up. 52% too. Hate that. That's another reason why I don't like going live, because then you get a copyright strike if, like, right then and there my TV came on for a second. And I collect Santa Clauses. Let me show you guys this Santa Claus. This is the only one they put out. I don't know why they did that, but let me show you guys this Santa Claus right here. Okay, y'all see him? He's so cute. I like his face and his outfit. I think I got him 2 years ago or 3. I'm not sure, but I collect them. So I'm going to show you guys my collection of Santa Clauses. And I'm getting a new one this year. I wanted to get one when I was in D.C. Last month, but that didn't happen. Well, in October now. But that didn't happen because my kids convinced me that I don't need to try with my suitcase. I don't need to try to bring home nothing extra. And I was like, I left room in my suitcase in case I went shopping or anything. So that's why I don't, because I knew it was like a girls' trip, and it ended up being me and all my daughters. Hi, happy holidays, dear. Thank you. And so it was me and my 3 daughters, and we went to D.C. because my middle daughter, she got invited to the Howard homecoming up there. So I told my oldest daughter, who's 26, about it, and then she was like, I want to go. And then I was like, oh, that would be fun. And I was like, but we can't leave out your other sister, and that's my youngest daughter. And so then we just all went. And so we took my daughter, and she's real smart, and knows how to talk for herself and do things. So she had already went to DC earlier in the summer. And we're talking about everything that just happened. She had went to DC this past July, and then we went back up there in October to take her to the Howard homecoming. And I'm not positive that, well, I'm positive that I wouldn't want her to go to Howard because the fact that when we got home, like 2 days later, we found out that there was like all the 14 shootings, or maybe 12 or 14 shootings over there near Howard during the homecoming weekend. And so that was like, ooh, we was just there, you know what I mean? So I don't know if she could go to that school. And then, you know, it costs so much money for her to go there versus if she go to school in state. I just don't want my child that far away from me. And hi, everybody. Can you guys hit the like button once y'all come and say hi and stuff? But going back, you know what I mean, a little bit. As a woman, what I will say is this, woman to woman, if there is any women that's out here watching this or listening to me and the sound of my voice, all I'm saying is don't keep your children away from their father ever because you're mad or it didn't work out. The only way that they need to be kept away from their fathers is if their father has done something like abused them or, you know, something like that. Well, at that point, the father needs to be in jail. But just because a relationship does not work out does not mean that all of a sudden you take them kids. You let them kids be a part of the life of you and their father, because see, if you do that and you start playing games with the children and stuff like that, what ends up happening is that they get older and then they just turn on you. The kids just gonna turn on you because they're going to realize that, oh, mama didn't let me see my dad and I could have had my relationship with my dad. Sorry, y'all, my neck is tight. And then they have resentment. Then these kids end up with this resentment that they're gonna have towards you. And I just feel like that's was Kandi, and not that I know nobody's life, but I can see what it's leading to. I can see what that mess is leading to when you start getting to where you're mad. Because at first we was gonna break up and we was gonna be cool, but now we ain't finna do that because I'm mad now. So with that being said, I just felt like I just feel like she needs to keep her, instead of amending everything with her divorce, amending the petition, you need to go on ahead and let your kids see their daddy. That daddy been raising them kids. Truth be told, much as I like her, the daddy's been raising her kids. What's his name? Todd Tucker. He's been the one that I see all over raising the kids. I mean, he has proof. And you can see the love in his eyes for his children. And I'm sure she loves her children equally. I know she would have to. Any mother would. And like I said, her second child was born, into the world by way of surrogacy. So even that shows that she really, really, really wanted her children. And at the end of the day, yes, although she really, really, really wanted her children, did she realize what she was up for? Probably not. She just figured, as time went on, well, their daddy got them. Well, their dad still got them. So if the dad still has them, then just let him have his children too. And I hope he fights her. I hope he fights her for every step of the way. And I know he will. I don't care how expensive his legal bills will get. Well, now you wanted to open that door. Maybe she'll have to pay for them. I do not know. But what I do know is this. That man wants them kids. Let him help you raise your kids. Because you can't help you raise the kids. Because you gone. You trying to make that bag. And I understand how that feels. You know what I mean? I understand. But at the end of the day, your kids need you. And that's what my mother told me about me and my children. She said, my kids, you need to learn to talk with your children more. And I'm not embarrassed to tell you guys that I had to get checked by my mom. My mom straight up told me, she said, like, Gina, you going to have to start sitting down and talking with your kids. Spend more time with them. And I'm thinking to myself, well, okay, in my day, did you spend more time with me? No, all you did was, all my mom did was, my mom had me squared. I'm not going to lie. I've been like that. That's nothing that whatever. It's a long story. But anyway, that's why I would even say that to my mom. I was like, well, you didn't spend time with me like this, so why are you telling me this? Like, I don't spend time with my kid. Defensive. But I hadn't been spending enough time with my kids. I was giving my kids everything. And I was giving my kids what they didn't even ask for. They didn't ask for that. My kids have so much stuff. At one point, and this is real life, about 2 years ago, I couldn't even think. My kids had so much stuff, I couldn't even think to what to get them. You ever heard that when people say you are shot? What do you get the person who has everything? Well, these kids of mine had every single thing that I could possibly even think to get them. To where this last 2 Christmases ago, I ended up getting them all metal detectors. Because metal detectors, y'all, for gifts. That'd be a great gift, especially if you was going to use it, because I'm thinking, be clever, think of something good. I'm thinking, okay, I'm going to get my kids these metal detectors, and I'm going to take them up to the park and let them, look for stuff. These kids nowadays, they don't want nothing like that. All they want is you to give them a piece of technology, some kind of something to get on the internet, or a video game, or a dumb box. My dad used to call the TV a idiot box. That's what he used to call the TV. And we barely was watching it because I don't know who's about my age. I'm about 50. And I'm over 50, but anyway, we would just have these 3 channels that we had access to. And, well, needless to say, I mean, it was no 300 channels, you have access to 50 million more. You know what I mean? So we didn't even watch that much. And if you was watching TV in my time and still having your butt outside and kicking it, then they would call it an idiot box, And with that being said, y'all, I gotta come back and go back. I'll go back live in a little bit, in a few minutes. I gotta go pick up my daughter. She gotta be picked up by 7 something or whatever. What time is it where you guys are? Because we're gonna pick back up because I have to finish this food. But let's go look in on it. Okay. Let's go look in on this food, this meat, and see how it's looking. And then we're going to come back. And we're going to finish talking because this is ridiculous. I'm going to see what other information I can find out just to make sure that what I got to say is accurate, because I don't want to misspeak or anything. But I believe it's a little bit silly to be so mean that you would rather not have the more active parent, even if it ain't you, taking care of your children. Now, it's just time to grow up now. It's time to grow up. Because your children will see it in the end. Your children will see it. So what I have done, I could tell just based on my knowledge of cooking. But anyway, this meat, watch this, y'all. You see that chicken? Well, it's done. So what I'm going to do is actually and I'm going to put the lid back on there. I'm going to turn it off. And then I'm going to come back and I'm going to finish cooking it. But that's heat and condensation is just going to continue to steam it. And then we'll come back and we'll just finish that meal. And we'll finish talking. Y'all be ready to have a conversation or something, okay?